U.S. President Donald Trump has expanded his so-called travel ban. 8 countries are now on the list, with the newest being the DPRK, Venezuela and Chad. This was a result of a review after Trump's original travel bans were challenged in court. And that means 3 countries from Africa are now on that list. Sudan was on the previous list. It is now off. CGTN's Nina Maria Potts has more.
Well, the Trump administration has announced these new restrictions that's now on visitors from 8 countries. To be clear, the expansion of this travel ban is an expansion of the existing travel ban, which was introduced at the beginning of the Trump presidency. It was deeply controversial, and it's still being played out in the legal courts, in the legal process. The 3 countries that have been added include Chad, Venezuela, and the DPRK. And in Venezuela's situation, the U.S. administration is targeting just the leadership and its family members. So very targeted travel ban in a way perhaps that the original travel ban was not. The Trump administration is also pointing to the diversity of the countries that are now included. If you remember, there were scenes of chaos when the first travel ban was implemented, with even green card holders and visa holders being caught in the crosshairs. Some of them were unlucky enough to be out of the country at the time that it was rolled out. The Trump administration insisting that this is a diverse group of countries that it's targeting for security reasons. And by the way, they have dropped Sudan for exemplary information sharing. They've done a review of Sudan and have dropped Sudan off the list. But the Trump administration saying that this was never about race and it was not an anti-Muslim ban.
Let's get you more reactions now from the West African region, and I'm joined from Lagos by CGTN's Deji Badmus. Deji, has there been a reaction on the U.S. travel ban from either Chad or the regional bloc ECOWAS?
Not exactly, Beatrice. There hasn't been any reaction yet. I mean, Chad, the people of Chad would just be waking up to this story. It's still very early, so no doubt the government will want to meet, and I'm absolutely sure that there's going to be some kind of reaction in the coming hours or days. And we are also going to see some kind of reaction from ECOWAS. So it's quite too early. I mean, this executive order just came into force a few hours ago, don't forget.
Well, Sudan is off the list now, but Chad has been singled out. So why has Chad been singled out and not any of the other nations affected by Boko Haram?
Well, let's get something straight. I mean, from the wordings of the executive order now, the wordings especially on Chad, it's very clear that Chad was not included on the list just because of the activities of Boko Haram. So that is the reason why we can't say, you know, Chad is specifically targeted because of the activities of Boko Haram. What the executive order says is that Chad has not been very cooperative when it comes to sharing terrorism-related and other public information. So basically, from my own understanding of the executive order, the wordings of the executive order, President Trump absolutely made it clear that Chad still remains an important partner in America's counterterrorism operation, but that Chad basically has not been fully cooperative when it comes to sharing, you know, information probably about some of its citizens involved in terrorism and all of that. And that is basically why this executive order, it's aimed at the citizens of Chad. Now, I mean, this suspension is basically for the B1, B2 visas. That's the business and tourism visas. So basically means for Chadian citizens who may be willing to travel to the United States of America for either business or tourism purposes, they would not be able to do so. But of course, the ban does not cover government officials. So that's the understanding of this ban, Beatrice. So
with that ban now being aimed at citizens and the businesses from Chad, then exactly what significant, what's the impact that this travel ban will have on the wider Chad?
Well, there's no question at all that it will have an impact, especially when it comes to the Chadian citizens now. I mean, imagine Chadian citizens who may want to travel to the United States to do business, who may want to travel to the United States for tourism purposes, that would not be able to do so. So this is going to be one huge inconvenience now for the people of Chad, even though it does not affect government officials, so to speak. But it's quite significant also when you consider the fact that Chad is a strategic partner of the United States in its counterterrorism fight. For instance, America just concluded not quite long ago a military exercise in Chad. Chad has been working with America. It has been getting a lot of military aid from America. So whether this will affect that relationship still remains to be seen. But this will be one huge inconvenience for the ordinary citizens now of Chad.
Right, Deji Badmus for us there from Lagos.